What if I told you that the single most terrifying thing you've ever feared doesn't actually exist? Death. We've built entire civilizations around this fear. Religions, philosophies, insurance companies. But here's what's mind-blowing. Modern physics has a law that accidentally proves what an ancient teacher discovered 2,500 years ago. Death is an illusion, and I can prove it to you using science. Stick with me for the next 30 minutes, because what you're about to learn will fundamentally change how you see reality itself. Let's start with something every physicist on Earth accepts as fundamental truth: the law of conservation of energy. Established in the 1840s, this principle states something radical. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. A log burns. The chemical energy becomes heat and light. Water boils. Liquid becomes gas. Your phone battery drains. Electrical energy becomes light, sound, heat. Energy never disappears. It only changes form. This is not theory. This is proven, tested, undeniable fact. Your body, right now, is running on bioelectricity. Every thought you're having, every heartbeat, every breath, that's measurable, electrical and chemical energy flowing through you. We can measure it. We can see it on brain scans. It's real. It's there. Your consciousness, your thoughts, your awareness is electrical and chemical energy moving through neural pathways at incredible speeds. This isn't spiritual talk. This is measurable, scientific fact. So here's the question that keeps physicists up at night. When you die, where does that energy go? According to the law of conservation, that energy cannot simply vanish. It cannot become zero. It has to go somewhere. But modern science has no answer. We can track energy transformations everywhere in the universe, except this one moment. However, a teacher who lived 2,500 years ago, before microscopes, before electricity, before modern physics, already mapped exactly where that energy goes. His name was Siddhartha Gautama. You might know him as the Buddha. In the Buddhist analytical framework, specifically in the Abhidhamma, which is essentially the physics textbook of consciousness, life isn't what you think it is. According to this ancient science, your life isn't a solid thing. It's a stream, a flow of consciousness moments happening so fast you think you're a continuous being. Think of it like a movie. A movie looks smooth, right? But it's actually thousands of individual frames per second. Your consciousness works the same way. A rapid series of moments, not a solid entity. Now let's zoom into what happens at the exact moment of death. We're talking about a time frame shorter than you can imagine. Your final consciousness moment in this life arises. In Buddhism, this is called Kutishita, the death consciousness. That consciousness moment passes, ceases, dissolves. But remember our physics problem? That energy doesn't vanish. In the exact next instant, no gap, no waiting room, no judgment hall, that energy reconnects. A new consciousness stream begins. The last consciousness moment of one life is the direct cause of the first consciousness moment of the next. Like dominoes falling, instantaneous. Think of it like a radio station. When you destroy the radio transmitter, smash it with a hammer, does the radio wave die? No. The wave is still there, traveling through space. It just needs a new receiver to tune into it. Your body is the transmitter. Your consciousness energy is the wave. When the body breaks down, the wave doesn't stop. It finds a compatible receiver. That receiver might be a mother's womb. Or according to Buddhist cosmology, it might be different realms of existence that operate on different frequencies. But here's the key. There's no gap. The transition is instantaneous. Now, if you're scientifically minded, your brain just raised a red flag. You're thinking, wait, if there's no permanent soul, no unchanging self, then who exactly is being reborn? Who's traveling from life to life? This is the exact question that brilliant philosophers have asked for 2,500 years. The Buddha's answer is genius, and it involves candles. Imagine you have a candle burning. You take a second candle and light it from the first one. Now answer this. Did the flame from the first candle jump to the second candle? Think about it carefully. The answer is no. The actual flame didn't travel. The first candle's flame didn't get smaller. But also, the second candle didn't light itself. Without the first flame, it would stay dark. What happened? Energy transfer. The heat energy from flame 1 caused the chemical reaction that created flame 2. They're connected causally, but flame 2 is not flame 1. Not the same, not different. Causally connected. Your rebirth works exactly the same way. The you reading this now, your personality, your memories, your identity, will burn out. It won't travel anywhere. But the karmic energy, the mental patterns, the tendencies, the unresolved momentum of your consciousness, that will ignite a new life. That new being won't be you, but it won't be not you either. Think of it like genetics. You're not your grandfather, but you carry his DNA. You inherited his traits without being him. Rebirth is like that, but with consciousness patterns instead of biological code. No person travels. Only patterns continue. This means that your desperate grip on being you is like clutching at smoke. That identity is temporary. What continues is something deeper. The momentum of your mental habits. Now we arrive at something that should terrify and empower you in equal measure. Everything we've discussed, the energy transfer, the consciousness stream, the rebirth, it all happens. That's the mechanism. But here's what determines where that energy reconnects. 2 factors. Factor 1, your accumulated data. Throughout your life, every action, every thought, every intention, you're essentially writing code, creating karmic data. Acts of compassion, that's one kind of data. Acts of hatred, different data. Patterns of anxiety, that's data too. Your life equals your programming. This accumulated data creates your default frequency. Factor 2, your final mental state. If your final consciousness moment is filled with fear, rage, desperate attachment, or confusion, that's a low-frequency state. And here's where physics comes back in. Remember resonance? A vibrating tuning fork will make another tuning fork of the same frequency vibrate. Low-frequency mental energy at death will resonate with, will attract, will connect to a compatible low-frequency receiver. States of existence characterized by suffering, confusion, and limitation. But if your final moment is characterized by peace, clarity, wisdom, letting go, that's high frequency. That energy will connect to higher realms, favorable rebirth conditions, or states of existence characterized by joy and clarity. Here's what keeps me up at night. You don't get to practice your death. You get one shot at this moment, one take, no rehearsal. And most people, they don't die peacefully in meditation after 90 years of spiritual practice. They die suddenly, in shock, in a car crash, mid-argument, in fear during a medical emergency. Imagine, your last thought is rage at the driver who hit you, or terror as you realize what's happening, or desperate clinging, no, I'm not ready. That energy state determines your next start position. This isn't superstition. This is psychological conditioning meets energy mechanics. But here's the good news. And this is where ancient wisdom becomes practical. You can train for your death. If you understand this mechanism, you can prepare. Every moment you spend cultivating awareness, peace, non-attachment, you're essentially running drills. You're building mental muscle memory, so that even in the chaos of death, there's a chance, a real chance, that your consciousness defaults to clarity instead of panic. Train your mind now while you have time, because the final exam has no makeups. So we've established energy can't be destroyed. Consciousness continues. Rebirth happens, which means you're trapped, right? An eternal cycle. Birth, death, rebirth, death, forever. That sounds less like good news and more like a cosmic prison sentence. But wait, let's think about our physics law again. Energy cannot be destroyed, but can it stop being created? Here's the key insight that changes everything. The energy continuing from life to life isn't just existing. It's being generated. There's a generator, a factory, a source that keeps producing new karmic energy. And according to the Buddha, that generator is located in your mind. It's called tanha, usually translated as craving or thirst. Every time you desperately want something, every time you think, I need this to be happy, every time you grasp, cling, demand that reality be different than it is, you're running the generator. You're creating new energy that will need to go somewhere when this body dies. Craving equals karmic energy generator. So here's what nirvana actually is. Nirvana isn't destroying the energy you already have. That would violate physics. Nirvana is turning off the generator. The Buddha explained this beautifully. He said, imagine a fire burning. It burns because you keep feeding it wood. Now you stop adding fuel. What happens? The fire goes out. If someone asked you, where did the fire go? Did it go north, south, east, west? That would be a nonsense question, wouldn't it? The fire didn't go anywhere. It simply ceased. The conditions for its existence were no longer present. That's nirvana, not destruction, but cessation of production. When a fully enlightened being dies, something unprecedented happens. The final consciousness moment arises and ceases. But no new consciousness moment is generated to continue. Why? Because the generator was already shut down. There's no craving left, no attachment, no fuel for the rebirth mechanism. Nirvana can't be described in terms of existence or non-existence, because those concepts require a reference point, a someone experiencing something. But nirvana is the transcendence of that entire framework. What we can say, it's the highest happiness, not because it's pleasurable, but because it's the end of all suffering. It's the only true freedom. You're not a person who dies. You're not a soul traveling from body to body. You're a process, a temporary pattern in an energy stream. The you think you are is like a whirlpool in a river. It looks solid. It has a recognizable form, but it's just water spinning. When the whirlpool dissolves, did anything die? Or did the water just continue flowing? There is no you to die. Your only job, purify the energy. Death isn't your enemy. Death is just a change of clothes. The real enemy is unconsciousness. Science gave us the law. Energy cannot be destroyed. The Buddha gave us the map. Here's where that energy goes, and here's how to stop generating more. You are not a mortal being. You're a stream of consciousness energy that has been flowing for beginningless time, and you have the power, right now, to clean that stream, or even to stop it entirely. The truth is available. The choice is yours. Thanks for watching, and remember, you have time, but not forever.